Krishna, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Pariprashna, where we are going to dive deep into chapter number 6 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is titled Dhyana Yoga or Atma Samyama Yoga. So, I hope you have already watched the previous episodes of Pariprashna. If you haven't done so, kindly check out the playlist link that I have given in the description. Just through one click, you can watch all the videos, you can access them all in one place. So, in yet another spectacular chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna shares profound teachings on how to practice Ashtanga Yoga and also the mastery of mind. So, please join us as we continue to unpack chapter number 6, where we are going to explore the topics of self discipline, meditation, and the power of controlling the restless mind, and so many other topics. So, let's continue to inquire from His Grace Kamalochan Prabhu. So, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhu, thanks to the efforts of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, that over the past few years, since he became the Prime Minister in 2014, yoga has become a household word and it has gained international popularity. But however, when we say the word yoga, for most people in their mind, they think of yoga on the mat in terms of asanas, the physical postures, pranayama, breathing technique, and maybe a little bit of dhyana meditation. But however, the topic of yoga, that is Ashtanga Yoga, which is covered by Krishna in chapter 6, is much broader topic. So if you can kindly explain and help us understand, help us expand our understanding about yoga beyond the mat by way of explaining all the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, Prabhu.
What to speak of just yoga at the different levels? Even food is also at different levels. When you say food, it doesn't just mean food for the body. It means food for the mind. It means food for the intelligence and food for the soul. Human has 4 levels of existence, as Krishna has told in the Bhagavad Gita, the 3rd chapter itself. Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhyah paramanaha manasastu parabuddhe yubuddhe parasastu saha. So you have physical existence, and your emotional, the mental existence, and you have the intellectual existence, and then beyond that there is spiritual existence. So there is food for the 4 levels. For example, somebody is eating good food for the body, but doesn't have good food for the mind. He is watching all movies which are full of violence and rape and so many obnoxious things. Then his body may be healthy, but the mind is not healthy. So we're not only interested in having a healthy body, we need to having a healthy mind also.
Okay.
And beyond that mind, there is intelligence. There should be healthy intelligence and healthy soul. So yoga for health, physical health, is asana and somewhat pranayama. And then beyond Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, you require mental health. That is why Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, then there is pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, which is for the mental health. And of course, samadhi, which is meant for the intellectual as well as the spiritual health. Now, the Vedic literatures, they have a very perfect understanding of a complete yoga, complete satisfaction. Vedic literature doesn't just talk about only physical health or only spiritual health. It talks about the complete well-being of the human. So just to take one aspect of yoga and say this is what it is, that is our foolishness. As much as to think that I have good food for my body, but not for my mind, we neglect the food for the mind and the intelligence in the soul. You think this is all in all. Animals are also having food. What is the difference? So just to keep the body fit is not going to make you or give you complete satisfaction. So as much as there are higher levels of existence, higher levels of yoga too, higher levels of food too, higher levels of health, higher levels of existence, higher levels of relationships too. If a husband and wife, they think we are just meant for only physical relationship, then the relationship should not last long. because something beyond the physical relationship is a mental, emotional transaction, emotional relationships. So you name a subject matter in this world, it has got higher levels of understanding, physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual. And the same thing is presented in a more technical way in the Taittiriya Upanishad Sikshavali, where Bhrugovai Varunhi, this description with Samvada or a conversation between Bhrugu and Varuni, his father and son, there the five levels of the koshas of the human existence is described. That is known as Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. So the Anandamaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Kosha, they are spiritual. Other three are material. So yoga is meant for the development of all the five koshas, not just only Annamaya Kosha or just the Pranamaya Kosha, but the yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna talks in the 6th chapter, is taking us all the way from the Annamaya Kosha, material, gross material body's health, to all the way to the spiritual health. The end of the 6th chapter, Krishna talks about the spiritual health, the spiritual yoga, which is the culmination of all the yogas, where he says that among all the kinds of yogis, yoginam sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate, one who does my bhajan, he is the topmost yogi, and bhakti is the topmost yoga.
Fantastic, Prabhu. So if you can please kindly expand on Yama and Niyama, which is hardly talked about, which is prerequisite for asana and pranayama, Prabhu.
So before I answer that question, we had to be very clear that what Krishna speaks in the 6th chapter is not what Patanjali speaks.
Okay.
There is a heaven and hell difference between what Patanjali speaks and what Krishna speaks.
Okay.
They may look the same. They may have the same name as Ashtanga Yoga or the Atma Sayama Yoga, but there is a lot of difference. Because what Patanjali speaks is just Ashtanga. He names it yoga, but it is not yoga.
Okay.
Because it is atheistic in nature. Whereas Krishna, what he speaks is a spiritual Ashtanga yoga. It is yoga, Ashtanga yoga, or it is known as Atma Sayama yoga. So, as much as people are getting confused between the Sankhya spoken by Krishna and Sankhya spoken by atheistic Kapila, they think both are same. No, the atheistic Kapila, he spoke the atheistic Sankhya, whereas Krishna spoke the theistic Sankhya. The same way, some people think Krishna spoke in the 3rd chapter Karma Yoga is actually non-different from Jaimini's Karamimamsa. But Jaimini's Karamimamsa has nothing to do with what Krishna spoke. Okay. Krishna spoke Karma Yoga, which is spiritual. Now here also same thing. Some people think Krishna spoke the Ashtanga Yoga spoken by Patanjali. So Patanjali's Ashtanga has nothing to do with Krishna's Ashtanga. Krishna's Ashtanga Yoga is totally spiritual in nature. So this is the understanding what we should have. But anyhow, Krishna still speaks about Yama and Niyama in the chapter. Now, Yama and Niyama, without spiritual goals, is what Patanjali speaks about. But when Krishna speaks about Ashtanga Yoga, he speaks about Yama and Niyama, keeping spiritual goals in mind. That is the reason people have taken Yama and Niyama and threw it away. And then said, why Yama and Niyama? Just go to asanas. But the whole, if you read even Patanjali's yoga system, you'll find the Yama and Niyama, they are so much stressed. Only a person who practices Yama and Niyama is even allowed to learn asanas. What to speak of even performing or teaching. And one of the important aspects of Yama and Niyama, let us know the meaning of the word Yama and Niyama. Yama means those things which are supposed to be done. Okay. And Niyama means those things which are not supposed to be done. Like stealing, stayam, it should not be done. The same way you have Yama, you should practice Brahmacharya. So now, practicing Brahmacharya, for both man and woman. Brahmacharya means controlling the senses, especially the sexual urges. One who controls them, he is qualified to perform the asanas. Unfortunately, people are thinking that I'll perform certain asanas so that I can increase my capacity for sense enjoyment. Even Patanjali would commit suicide when he sees that these people are doing such a mockery out of his system of yoga.
Mm.
So very unfortunate. It is because the goal of Patanjali Yoga system, it is not very clear, though he has mentioned Yogaha Chittavritti Nirodha. This is the first aphorism of the
Right.
Yoga Sutras. Chittavritti Nirodha. The vrittis of the mind has to be balanced.
Mm.
So now, whereas Krishna's Ashtanga Yoga, which also includes Yama and Niyama, that is very clear in its purpose. The purpose is to constantly think of Krishna.
Mm.
Hmm? In our Chitta Vritti, there should be Krishna. If you are singing, think of Krishna. Dancing, think of Krishna. If you are smelling, think of Krishna. So this is how, when the purpose of yoga, which is very clearly defined in the 6 chapters, there is no question of any deviation.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay. So, Prabhu, if you can tell us how to practice pratyahara. Of course, now you clearly said the way Patanjali has given Ashtanga Yoga is very different from what Krishna has given, especially with the goal that they have. But however, in a world where there is so much of sensory overload, there is so much of sensory stimulation pretty much for all the senses, and especially on the digital platforms. So, how can we practice pratyahara even to help in our progress in bhakti to control our senses?
See, pratyahara means within your mind there are senses, and within your mind there are sense objects.
Mhm.
Actually, what you say is eyeball, it is not I. I is in the mind. This
Mm.
is a nose, this is a nose instrument, but the nose is in your mind.
Wow.
The tongue is the tongue instrument, the actual tongue is in your mind.
Mm.
And also the sense objects. Like sometimes you may be very hungry, even not, sometimes you may not be hungry also.
Mm.
But you, on the road, you see some hotel in which they are making something which is tasty for you.
Mhm.
So immediately water comes in your mouth. Why? Because you have tasted that food in your mind.
Oh.
So there's a tongue in your mind. There is a subtle object to the sense object. The object is in your mind. You taste it in your mind. So pratyahara means to separate the senses in your mind and the sense objects in your mind. That is called pratyahara. Now, the process of pratyahara, as recommended by Krishna in the Krishna's Ashtanga, is not is to give proper ahara to the mind, proper ahara to the senses. So when you're in contact with the sense objects which are spiritualized, like for example, you have nose in your mind. Hmm. It's only nose instrument. The real nose is in your mind. It
Okay.
wants to smell. So what you do, instead of giving the fragrance of some materialistic objects, now flowers are meant for smelling. So what you do, you offer the flowers to Krishna, and the flowers which are nirmalya of Krishna, those flowers when you smell, so that is actual pratyahara of our of Krishna consciousness. Because the senses require association with sense objects. Without that, the senses becomes crazy and crave for things.
Mm.
That is why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Jayata Vishan Vamsaha Sangastisha Vijayate, Sanga Sanjayate Kama, Kamat Krodho Vijayate, Krodhat Bhakt Samoha, Samoha Smriti Vibramaha, Pratibhamscha Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. Very interesting two verses. Many people think that this verse is about talking about those who are meditating on the sense objects.
Mm.
It is not. It is talking about those so-called yogis who are meditating the sense objects in a way that they don't want to associate with it.
Oh.
See, I don't want to eat this sweet. I don't want to eat this sweet because I'm diabetic. And this laddu and these rasgullas are very harmful for me. He goes on meditating on what?
Laddu.
So his diabetes, and because of that, he'll develop attachment. So
Oh.
though you are meditating, you're saying no, 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 still you're meditating on it.
Mm.
So pratyahara, according to Patanjali, that is going to be a great danger for people in the age of Kali,
Mhm.
because that will lead people to fall down. The
Mm.
very process by which people want to progress, which was very, some people practiced it in the ages of the yore, but now in the age of Kali, the real pratyahara is to give ahara to the spiritual ahara to the senses, which are the mind. A song, my mind wants to hear beautiful music, then
Mm.
sing by beautiful songs of Krishna. That's pratyahara, like that. Taste, tongue, prasadam, Krishna prasad, which is offered to Krishna as Krishna prasad, accepted Krishna prasad, will be sanctified. Ahara shuddho, sattva shuddhi. Pure food will purify your mind too.
Mm. This is paradigm shifting, Prabhu. I mean, it's really revolutionary. I mean, at least I until now was thinking sense and sense objects only in the physical sense. And now you are saying separate the senses within the mind from the sense objects within the mind. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Prabhu, what is the definition of samadhi, Prabhu? Because that is the culmination of Ashtanga Yoga.
Srila Baladevidya Bhushan Prabhu in his commentary, he gives the meaning for the word samadhi. Samyak adhiyate asmin atma tattvam yathatmit samadhi. Samadhi, samyak, adhiyate, dhi means to meditate on, samyak means completely. Completely meditate on atma tattva, the truth about the soul.
Mm.
The basic truth, the truth about the soul is it is distinct from the body. I am not this body. But yathatmyam, what is the real nature of the soul? One is a negative description. We were told what the soul is not. But what
Mm.
is that soul? What is that Atma? It is Jiva Surupoy Christian Nityadas. So meditating, not only that I am not this body, but
Mhm.
actually meditating that I am Krishna Das. I am servant of Krishna. Meditating on that my relationship with Krishna as servant of Krishna means to meditate on what kind of service I can do for Krishna, how to do, and start doing that service. Constantly meditating on the service and how to do, and practically doing that, that is called samadhi. So a simple lady who is cooking, and whole meditation is on whether the rice is boiled or not, whether the salt is not appropriate, sugar is there or not. She's meditating on all these things.
Mhm.
But actually, the whole purpose of her cooking is to offer to Krishna, offer bhoga to Krishna. So that cooking becomes samadhi. Though she is thinking of salt, the fire, the utensils, and spice and dal, but still, she's in samadhi. Why? Because if you just catch hold of her and say, hey, what are you doing? Why are you disturbing me? I am cooking bhoga for Krishna. So in the subconscious mind, she's always thinking of Krishna, though externally she is thinking of different things. The
Mm.
same way anybody, any service done to Krishna, with the consciousness that I am servant of Krishna, that is called samadhi.
Okay. Okay. So, Prabhu, let's revisit the yoga ladder that you had described about in chapter number 3 or episode 3 of Pariprashna. So, you said there is the yoga ladder and there are all these karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga are the different rungs. So, is Ashtanga yoga also a rung on that ladder?
Definitely. These karma, jnana, and ashtanga, they are all three different contaminations in the ladder, in the progress of spiritual life. So when somebody is born, they are born with these three kinds of contaminations. Why? Because there are three desires. That is bhukti, mukti, siddhi.
Mm.
So those who have got bhukti kami means those who want to have sense enjoyment, gross sense enjoyment, they have the contamination of jnana in them.
Karma.
Those who are the contamination of karma in them, and those who are mukti kami, they want liberation. They have the contamination of jnana in them, and those who have a desire for siddhi. And what is the meaning of the desire for siddhi? Desire for siddhi, in a raw way, if I have to say what is the desire for siddhi, to show that you're better than another person. I
Mm.
can do something other person cannot do. So that is why the siddhi, those who are wanting siddhis, they come and show, see, I can walk on water. You can't see, I can walk. So there's a subtle enjoyment which comes by showing somebody by doing something which others cannot do.
Mhm.
This is called Siddhi, Siddhikam. And they have the contamination of Ashtanga. In this way, a devotee, by practicing pure devotional service,
Mhm.
he crosses over all these contaminations and come to the platform of pure devotional service. That's called Yoga Ladder.
Okay. Is there a hierarchy, Prabhu, that one is superior to the other? Of course, bhakti is on the top. It is the topmost. What about the rest?
There is no hierarchy in them, but
Mhm.
there are subtle connections between them.
Okay.
See, the karmis, when you ask them, why are you doing this karma? They say, oh, by doing karma, I get jnana. Okay.
Mm.
Now, you go and ask the jnanis, why are you doing jnana? Why are you not practicing karma? He says, what is the use of karma without jnana?
Mm.
And now you go and ask the Ashtanga yogis, why are you doing Ashtanga? It is because I can attain better jnana. So in this way, they just try to link with each other and then say, yeah, I'm doing this for the other. I'm doing this for the other. But ultimately, within them, there are some connections.
Mm.
Because without karma, without jnana, karma is useless. And karma is recommended in the as many parts of the scriptures for realizing jnana. And ultimately, to practice better jnana, they say Ashtanga. And some people even say that no, I am practicing Ashtanga because I have attained the perfection of jnana. Different versions which they say.
Okay.
So ultimately, they are all three contaminations, and all contaminations have, though they have independent identity, but there's some connection. Mhm. Like for example, you go on the road, in traffic, then you have dust also, then the smoke which comes, it brings some oil also and mud also.
Yeah.
But though they have independent existence, they are connected with each other. That's how it means.
Okay. Okay. Prabhu, the next major subject matter for discussion in this chapter is Krishna highlights the role of the mind, the power of the mind, and the importance of controlling it. So, in an earlier chapter, I believe it was episode number 2, where you gave a brilliant yet simple example just with your fingers on the hand. So, you talked about our different levels of existence. So, you talked about Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayuhu, Kam, that is the gross body, and then Buddhi, Mana, Buddhi, and Ahankara, that is the subtle body. Then you talked about the soul and the super soul. So today let's focus only on the mind, which is the subtle, which is one aspect of the subtle body. So Prabhu, if you have to take us into a deeper level of understanding of mind, what are the functions of the mind and why is the mind so powerful? What makes it so powerful? Because of which pretty much throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is emphasizing on the importance of controlling it for spiritual perfection.
Mind is all pervading through the body, and we live with that mind.
Hmm.
And whatever we want to do, first it comes in your mind. So in this way, the mind becomes the most powerful thing. That is why Krishna talks much about the mind. He says, Man mana bhavamat bhakto. And he talks about mind in the 6th chapter. Everywhere he talks about mind. Sometimes even when we use the word Atma,
Correct.
Krishna uses the word Atma, it refers to the mind, like in the 6th chapter. So definitely mind lives with you. So you are with the mind and you are what your mind is.
Mhm.
That's the reason mind has given so much of importance. Where your mind goes, your senses go. And all the senses are connected to the mind. Like Krishna in the 2nd chapter talks about it. Indriyanam hartam yan manonu vidhiyate. The senses are activated only when the mind focuses on. Like, for example, um, you a child is a small boy.
Mhm.
He is playing with a toy, which playing with a knife. Now he's so much playing. His mind is totally engrossed there. Hmm. So then the mother wants to take the knife from him. What she does, she gives a toy.
Mhm.
Uh, the boy's mind is engaged in the toy. Then he gives it the knife. You're walking on the road, then your eyes are open, but still you just came out of a movie, so you're very much your mind is engrossed in that movie, the song which somebody has sung in the movie, and you're singing. Your eyes are open, but you still fall in the gutter.
Mm.
Why? Because though your eyes are open, actually eyes don't see. It is the mind when it focuses on the eye, then it sees. Hmm? So my mind was focusing on the ear. You're singing, hearing. So his mind focus was not on the eye. So, so all the functions of the senses are only possible when the mind focuses upon. That is why Krishna uses the word yan manonu vidhiyate. Not only that, Kramantam Siddhamvad Gunjana Krishna in the 15th chapter, another verse says that Adhisthaya Manaschayam Vishayan Upasevate. Adhisthaya Manaschayam. All the senses are there situated on the mind or in the mind and then do their functions.
Okay. So, Prabhu, drawing not only your attention but the audience attention especially to shlokas 5 and 6. So, where Krishna is talking about the mind, Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhor atmaiva ripuratmanaha. So, reading Prabhupada's translation. A man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So, shloka 6. बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. So, Prabhu, in the very first episode, you had made a starking, very important statement that the only enemy that we have is an uncontrolled mind, and the only friend that we have is a controlled mind. So how do we understand that my mind is uncontrolled or controlled?
Yeah, there. How can you understand that the car is under control or not control?
If it is going where it
Very
is.
simple. Yeah, if it is going in the direction where you want it to go,
Mhm.
you have a desire to attain, you have a goal set up. You want to go to your office, then your car is going in the direction of your office, then you can say it is going in a proper direction. So now for that, you should have the knowledge of the route of how to go to the office. Mhm.
Mhm.
If you don't have the knowledge, though you may say the car is under my control, so still you may not achieve your goal. So now that is the problem here. The problem is that some people say, yeah, my mind is under control. I'm just concentrating on how to uh, kick the football into the net. My
Mm.
mind is totally focused in playing this mobile games. Total concentration is there.
Mm.
But the problem is this concentration is without knowledge. So
Mm.
though you're concentrating on how to control the car, bring the car very nicely, but you don't know the road. You don't know the goal, where to go, and
Mm.
the route. So control of mind is important. But more important than that is why are you controlling the mind? For what purpose what you want to achieve, what goal you want to achieve.
Nice.
So Bhagavad Gita first talks about the goal of life, that is attain Krishna.
Mm.
So to attain Krishna, you have to you should know the way, and the way to attain Krishna is to do bhakti. That is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and then hearing Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam. So when you do that, uh, then you require the control of the mind. It is very interesting that you require some control of the mind to do that. When you do these things, spirit chanting Hare Krishna and reading Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, because you're realizing the knowledge or you're getting more and more engrossed with the knowledge, the more control of mind happens. In this way, each one supplements each other. So the control of mind, it
Mhm.
engrosses you more in bhakti, and the more you are engrossed in bhakti, the more control of mind happens. So to think that control of mind is independent of bhakti, to see these two things separate, that these martial art experts are there, they also think of meditation, control of mind, everything is there, but it is without knowledge of goal of life. So what is the use of the control of mind?
Mhm.
So many people, they are trying to have the control of mind without knowledge. It is like having total control of the car without having the knowledge of the destination, without having the knowledge of how to reach the destination. So that is why when Krishna speaks about control of mind in the Bhagavad Gita,
Mhm.
he talks about attaining him through bhakti. So by bhakti, control of mind increases, and by control of mind, bhakti also increases. So in this way, the connection. Without connection with Krishna, the so-called control of mind is also as good as mind being not controlled,
Okay.
uncontrolled mind only.
Okay. But Prabhu, there are also so many side benefits to mind control, isn't it, Prabhu? Like, for example, at the individual level, as we speak right now, a majority of the percentage of diseases in today's society is psychosomatic diseases. First, it's starting with the mind because of stress, anxiety, depression, whatever, whatever, and then it's reflecting in the physical body. And mental ailments, my God. So one of my colleagues, when I was working in US in North Carolina, one day he was acting really weird. So I asked Kevin, what happened? Why are you like this today? He said, I have not taken my pill. I said, pill? What pill? And he said, I take anti-anxiety pill every day. Today I forgot to take it. This is why I'm like this. So one of my cousin works as a doctor in the US, and I spoke to him about this, and he said he himself prescribes for many people these anti-depression, anti-anxiety pills. And just talking to my colleagues, every other person is talking about therapy, being on pills, medication, and these are addictive pills. Pretty much once they get on it, they only maybe vary the doses, but they're on it for pretty much the rest of their life. And unfortunately, this is coming to India and other countries also. And even at the society level, if we see whether it is rape or suicide or murder or other types of crimes, it's majority of it is because of uncontrolled mind. So if we say now everybody should practice bhakti, so at both individual level and society level, we can solve all these problems. People are more stoic, people are more, having their mind under control. How do we address these things?
Yeah, as you're told, everybody should practice bhakti. There's no other way. That is why these problems are coming.
Hmm.
These problems are coming not because of just uncontrolled mind. It is coming, it is a symptom. Uncontrolled mind is a symptom of lack of love for Krishna. That's all. It is lack of, and the uncontrolled mind is at different levels. So it becomes very gross, then they try to go take pills and they rape and all this happens. When we subtle, it is there in the mind.
Yeah.
That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said that Mukti Kami, Bhukti Kami, Siddhi Kami, Sakala Ashant, Sakali
Mm.
Ashant. Krishna Bhakta Nishkamateva Shanta. So, as long as there are desires for sense enjoyment and desire for liberation and desire for Siddhi, the mind is uncontrolled. See, somebody's mind is very much controlled. You find him that he's very focused, he's studying nicely. He doesn't have any bad habits, fine. But if he has the Siddhi Kami means that I want to show that I'm better than you.
Hmm.
Then what all this person does, just to show I'm better than you, he insults a person, criticizes a person, maybe in a very sophisticated way, in a very good language. He may be so that is also a kind of uncontrolled mind.
Mm.
So the definition of the word controlled mind and uncontrolled mind is something beyond what people understand in general. Like for example, for the mother, for the boy to have controlled mind means that he should study nicely
Right.
and behave with her nicely. But she's not bothered about the boy is behaving with others nicely or not. Okay, no problem when he starts criticizing others. So, though he may be getting 95% marks, maybe 99%, 100 out of 100 also. The mother is happy that my boy's mind is controlled. That is why he's getting good marks.
Hmm.
But he's very ferocious, he's very rude. Then she's not bothered about, is it not uncontrolled mind?
It is.
Criticizing others.
It is.
He may get 100 out of 100 in mathematics,
Hmm.
but you are criticizing people. That shows you have an uncontrolled mind. So that is why bhakti is the only way to control the mind. Mhm.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Prabhu Arjuna, I'm just fast forwarding a little bit again, I'll go back. So Arjuna, somebody of his caliber, he was the best archer at the time, and he was a Raja Rishi. But even he, with no social media, no WhatsApp, no notifications, even he's saying, I think this is impractical for me. I don't think I can do this. And then he goes on to describe the characteristics of the mind in this beautiful shloka. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayor iva sudushkaram. So he's saying it is chanchalam, it's restless, and then pramati, balavad, dridam. So Prabhupada is writing it's restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. And then he says vayor iva sudushkaram. It is more difficult than controlling the wind to subdue the mind. So if you can please elaborate on these aspects of the mind and why it is so difficult to control it.
So it is so difficult that it cannot be controlled. So why want to control the mind? That is the problem.
Mhm.
That is what the whole sum and substance of the sixth chapter is. Don't try to control the mind, rather engage the mind. Chanchalam, the mind requires different objects. So what you have to give? You have to give Krishna consciousness. You open your eyes, see the wall, there is Krishna's photo. And you want to eat something, there is Krishna Prasad. And you want to smell something, the flowers of the deities. So in this way, when you have the deities, the vigrahas in your house, and you worship them, then naturally your mind will be engrossed in that. Mm. Yeah, and you in the wall you have Krishna's paintings, books, your Krishna books. So if you're in the mobile, you have the screen page as Krishna. So whatever you see, if things remind you of Krishna, then your the nature of the mind being chanchala is engaged in Krishna service. Chanchalame mana Krishna. Pramati bhalavadhuram. It forces you to do. Then, okay, wherever you go, there is only opportunity of you talking about Krishna, meeting Krishna's devotees. Then what happens? Whichever way the mind takes you, you'll find Krishna consciousness. Uh, One of the acharyas, they say, like a police, there are many police stations so that the thief can be caught. In the same way, the temples are built at many places in different towns. They're like police stations to catch this police, the conditioned soul.
Mm,
Wherever he runs, he'll find a temple. That's how glorious is our India. And
mm,
wherever you find, there'll be a temple there. So here also Krishna. I want a word, so you go somewhere else. So in this way, you fill the entire society with Krishna consciousness. And that's how our society works. In this way, Pramati, Balavadruram, it is strong. So since the mind is strong, offer it to Krishna. Hmm. It is strong, yes. Make it more strong. Fill it with Krishna consciousness. So your mind will be very strongly attached to Krishna. Hmm. Like sometimes people say, why always you say Krishna, 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 Bhagavad Gita? Why only we can't tell him? Because it's strong. My mind is strongly fixed in Krishna, then you cannot speak anything else other than Krishna. Pramati, Balavadruram, Tasyaham Nigraham Manyeva. No, it is true. Very difficult, easy to control the wind, but difficult to control the mind. So don't control the wind. What do? You use the wind to sail. Like earlier in the ships, there were sails. They never controlled the wind. They used the wind force and the direction so that they can go to the destination. So you should be an expert, serve under expert spiritual master who actually he guides your mental faculties, the mental tendencies in such a way you sail and attain proper destination, that is Krishna.
okay. Prabhu, earlier when you talked about the techniques of controlling the mind in the path of bhakti, you talked about chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you talked about hearing Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam. So now Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam, okay. When you said chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, for those people who are listening to this podcast, watching it from different belief systems, so why Hare Krishna Mahamantra only?
He uses word belief systems. The belief systems change, but Bhagavad Gita never changes. So everybody has to study the Bhagavad Gita nicely. And in that Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has clearly told, Yajnanam Japa Yajyosmi. Among all the yajnas, the topmost yajna is me, that is Japa Yajna. Yajnanam japa yajyosmi. And also Krishna told Satatam kirtayanto mam in the Bhagavad Gita. So very clearly Krishna told, chant the names of Krishna, chant my names. Of course, there are many names of Krishna, but in the age of Kali, we recommend to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is propounded in the scriptures. Hmm. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant this Mahamantra, and everything will be possible by chanting this Mahamantra. Now, you may say, why only this Mahamantra?
Yeah.
Okay, if you find something else, go and do. I don't mind. But the point is, what the world the world has seen the effect of this mantra. Hmm. What is the effect? When Srila Prabhupada went to the West, he made them chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, these Westerners who were into so much of all kinds of illicit activities, they became Vaishnavas. They became acharyas actually. No, they're acharyas. They're speaking Bhagavad Gita in the Bhagavatam. Uh, well, how was it possible? By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now tell me where else it has happened in a mass scale, not one or two, not hundreds, not thousands, in millions, in millions. Uh, what mantra which made millions of people who are engrossed in gross sinful activities become Vaishnavas and then give up all sinful activities? That shows. Palena parichiyate. The result is a proof of everything. So this is what it is.
Okay. Okay. So, Prabhu, when Krishna is suggesting 2-point formula to Arjuna to control the mind, Abhyasa and Vairagya. So, whatever you just now explained about chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that is part of Abhyasa, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the role of Vairagya in controlling the mind, Prabhu? Detachment.
See, Vairagya has a misunderstood meaning. Vairagya means to give up things which are not very favorable for your abhyasa. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, very simple. For example, to have a mobile open with your WhatsApp thing in front of you when you're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is not really favorable. So what do? You switch off the mobile, keep it for some time, then you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then you open and see like that. Because when you say Vairagya, people immediately think of giving up house, going to
Yes.
some forest or going to matha.
Yeah.
See, words have different connotations. Abhyasa means practice. Vairagya means to give up those things which are not very favorable for your practice. Simple.
Yeah.
So in Vaishnava philosophy, if you accept something favorable, reject something unfavorable. For example, Arjuna wanted Vairagya, so-called Vairagya. But Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight. Sometimes if somebody for Vairagya, so-called Vairagya, of giving up house is not favorable, better get married and stay in house and then chant Hare Krishna. That is favorable, accept it. So for that, it is Vairagya, for you, that is Vairagya. Getting married and staying in the house is Vairagya for you. Like that. What is favorable, we accept. What is unfavorable for practice of Krishna consciousness, we give it up.
Okay. Okay. So, Prabhu, shifting our focus to the benefits of controlling the mind. So amazing it is and so inspiring. So, Krishna is saying here in the 7th verse, Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukha dukkeshu tatha manapamanayoho. So, what is the role of a controlled mind in helping us becoming equipoised to the physical dualities, Shita, Ushna, heat and cold, to the emotional dualities, mental dualities, Sukha and Dukkha, happiness and distress, and egoistical dualities, Mana and Apamana, honor and dishonor. So, how controlled mind can help us become equipoised in all situations?
Yeah, these are the symptoms of the controlled mind. It is not the controlled mind helps you in this thing. These are the symptoms of the controlled mind. To the extent you have your mind under your control, when I say when your mind under control, it means your mind is engrossed in Krishna.
Okay.
To the extent you're thinking of Krishna, to the extent the mind is relishing the names of Krishna, when to the extent mind is relishing the pastimes of Krishna, the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, to that extent you become callous, means you become indifferent. So when Sita Ushna comes, okay, it's very hot. Okay, very hot. I'll chant Hare Krishna mantra. It's very cold. Chant Hare Krishna mantra. That means you're not bothered about it's hot or cold. And at the mental, somebody says, Titoshukeshu tata manapamanayoho ajitatman prashantasya paramatma samayitaha si sitoshna sukhadukkeshu sukha dukkha. So when sukha comes, the devotee goes on chanting. Dukkha comes also, he chants in both conditions. So just because he's happy, he doesn't chant. Some people say, why I'm chanting, I'm very sad, that is why I'm chanting. Whether some sadness comes, then also he chants. When happiness comes, then also he chants. He says, happiness comes, Krishna gave. Misery comes, Krishna gave.
Mm.
So, to the extent your mind is engrossed in Krishna, to that extent you become indifferent to all the needs of the body, the mind, and the ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about this Samaloshrashma Kanchanaha? Having this equal disposition towards whether it is a stone or a pebble or even gold.
Yeah. What is the meaning of sama? Sama means your mind is controlled, means your mind is engrossed in Krishna. You find a stone, immediately you think where this stone can be used in the building construction of temple. When you find a pebble, you will find nice. Oh, it's like a semi-precious stone, a pebble. This can be used in some nice interiors inlay. And then if you find gold, very good. I can make a nice ornament for Krishna. Maybe I can do some gold plating on the altar. So whatever you find, because your mind is thinking of Krishna, you try to use that thing in service of Krishna. That is called sama. Sama means that you see the gold, you see the stone, hey, both are equal, I throw them. No. Both are equal because both are energy of Krishna. Sama means you see everything in connection with Krishna. Sama means to see everything as energy of Krishna so that you can use it in energy of Krishna. You can use it in Krishna's service. So we require a lot of stones. Bring lot of stones, lot of gold, lot of pebbles. When you say pebble, it means say precious stone. Thousands of temples of Krishna has to be built. Yeah.
So, Prabhu, this I am not asking. If somebody else, I mean, not devotees, just not
Yeah,
anybody,
I'm just asking. I'm just asking about them only.
they
Telling them only. Anybody.
they may think this is fanaticism. Like whatever you ask these Hare Krishna devotees, somehow or other they will connect it with Krishna. Like this one was so brilliant. I mean, I never ever thought like this the way you put it. Samaloshrashma Kanchanaha. This is like really amazing to me. But for somebody, it may be fanaticism.
Yes, we are fanatic. As much as the conditioned soul is so fanatic about enjoying matter, so Krishna conscious, the devotees are so fanatic to give enjoyment to Krishna. So that's what it is. Why can't you say that everybody wants to enjoy? Is it not fanaticism? Everybody wants to exploit each other. Is it not fanaticism? That is also fanaticism. So when you become a devotee, because it is the nature of love to be fanatic.
Mhm.
When you love someone, you become fanatic about the person. And the
Yes.
parents who brought the boy uh, gave so much of love, affection, brought up, and they made him an engineer. They took loan, and now when he falls in love with a young girl, and who is not up to the liking of the parents, what does he do? He just gives them up, and then he runs behind the girl. And now parents are saying, "Oh, he left us." Another saying, "Oh, no, he loves her. This is the nature of the world." Why don't you say he's a fanatic about her? When you love someone, it is by default you are going to become a fanatic. Uh, so in the same way, when you love Krishna, which is the goal of life, which is the nature of the soul to love Krishna, naturally the world perceives you as fanatic.
Fantastic, Prabhu. Amazing. So, I'm now really curious to know after your explanation for Samaloshrashma Kanchanaha. Last episode in fifth chapter, Krishna talked about Pandita Samadarshinaha, but at least that Pandita was seeing a dog eater, elephant, cow, Brahmana equally. But now this is like I mean, Suhrin Mitra Rudasina Madhyastadveshya Bandhushu Sadhushvapi cha Papeshu Sama Buddhir Vishishyate. To see people who are connected with us, he may be a Suhrut, I'll just read the whole list. Honest well-wisher, friends, enemies, the envious, the pious, the sinner, and those who are indifferent and impartial with an equal mind. Yeah, so please throw some light on this, Prabhu.
So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivamsho jivaloke jivata sanatanaha manasishtanindriyani prakritisthani karshati. So everybody is actually part and parcel of Krishna. And now they are all being part and parcel of Krishna. They're supposed to do Krishna Bhakti. So they are not doing Krishna Bhakti. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jivata sanatanaha manaha sashtanindriyani prakritisthani karshati. Manaha sashtanindriya, including the mind, there are six senses. So with these six senses, prakritistha, being situated in matter, engrossed in matter, prakritistha means not only being in material world, but also the mind engrossed in matter, karshati, everybody is suffering. So my friend is also suffering, my enemy is also suffering. So what is the solution? To make them chant Hare Krishna, bring them to Krishna consciousness. So by trying to give Krishna consciousness to both friend and enemy, you're equal to both.
Brilliant. Very nice.
That applies to same. All categories.
Okay, okay. Very nice, Prabhu. Prabhu, is there anything that I have not asked that you would like to add for the mind control before we move on to the next subject?
Yeah, I've asked almost all things.
Okay.
Summarizing what is mind control, the best way to control the mind, of course, is to completely engross your mind in Krishna. Until the time your mind is not engrossed in Krishna, or to the extent your mind is not engrossed in Krishna, when your kachara comes in your mind, just neglect them. That is called control the mind. Neglect.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Prabhu, next let's talk about moderation, which you did talk about it in the previous chapter. We talked about regulation. You said spiritual life starts when you understand the laws of matter and understanding that Krishna is the lawmaker. So, you had made that statement. We'll take it from there. So, I'll just quote the 17th shloka here. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkaha. So, Krishna is talking about moderation in acts of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. So, how do we, and you said spiritual life starts from understanding laws of matter. But for those of us who are not familiar with the scriptures, how do we understand what are these laws? How do I know if I'm in moderation or if I'm overindulging or if I'm depriving? How do we understand?
See, not knowing scripture and being innocent is actually a crime. Like, for example, if you're driving a car and I don't know the traffic rules, then that is not a good justification. So you should know. You should know how to deal with the body, mind, intelligence, and senses, and the whole life itself. Because you're living life, you should know. Now, how do you know? By approaching a spiritual master. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena se upadekshanti te jnanam jnanana sadadarshaneha. So your question was how to know. To approach a spiritual master. There are n number of ISKCON temples. They're definitely in ISKCON temple nearby. You go there, approach a sadhu, approach a devotee, senior devotee. There, and you also have this regular classes which you're conducting. All of them should attend these classes. And then also, if there are some personal questions, they should ask you and inquire. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena inquire. So then you come to know. Nobody knows just by birth. So everybody has to learn. So one has to always have this craving to learn more, learn more. The craving, what you have, the lobha, the greed to learn Krishna consciousness, the greed to study the scriptures, that is the only solution.
Okay. And this moderation, is it absolute for everybody? Is it constant for everybody, Prabhu? What is moderation for me may be extreme for someone else.
Definitely. Like, for example, you have some young 13, 14-year-old boy who is doing a lot of hard work. He plays around. For him, maybe he can take 5 paratas, no problem.
Mhm.
But for an old man, 60-year-old man, maybe half paratha is also uh, very difficult for him to digest. That is why in Ayurveda and even in the spiritual scriptures,
Mhm.
the advice is given not based on some disease. The advice is based on the individual.
Right.
So the modern approach is to generalize things. Okay, you got common cold, take this. What is it? Dudo, Dido, something from one is one medicine
Dolo,
is there.
dolo,
Dolo,
dolo.
Dolo. Every somebody had some cold and cough,
Mhm.
immediately wife got, oh, I'll buy a Dolo and come. Husband was coughing. I was in the airport. She brought one Dolo and gave. So no, it is. So the whole whole teaching is that generalize. But why did he sneeze? Why did he cough? Because he was sitting in the airport. He was sitting in front of air conditioner. The whole thing was
Mm.
coming on to him. He did not require that.
Mm.
So it cannot be generalized. The Vedic system, Krishna system, is that individual approach, individualistic approach, not the disease approach. Sometimes some diseases somebody has, it can be good for that person.
Oh.
Somebody had fever.
Mm.
One doctor gave medicines,
Mhm.
but I recommended that to show it to another doctor, Ayurvedic doctor. Ayurvedic doctor, he said, don't give medicines. It is good that he has fever. Oh, what is this? Good he has fever. Because the fever is meant to kill the bacteria or the virus which is there in his body.
Mm.
So let him have fever. You just wait for 2 days. It will subside. It will become all right. So sometimes somebody may not be having any illness, but still medicine is required. Hmm.
Mm.
So this is called yukta. It is not generalization.
Okay.
That's the difference between the modern approach of the modern science and Krishna science. Krishna, he cares for every living entity.
Mm.
He doesn't generalize because every living entity is unique, and
Mm.
every disease a person has, it's unique. So this
Mm.
yukta varies from one person to the person.
Okay. And Prabhu, this yogo bhavati dukkha, what is the nature of dukkha that Krishna is talking about, that the imbalance in these things will lead to dukkha?
So definitely, as I told, there are four levels of human existence. That is uh, physical,
Mhm.
emotional, mental, and intellectual and spiritual.
Mhm.
So it's imbalance at all the four levels. So yoga at each level, it actually takes care of the imbalance and balances at the four levels. The physical level, yoga balances the doshas, the three doshas. Imbalance of dosha is known as vyadhi.
Okay.
Uh, Vyadhi is what? Imbalance of your kapha pitta vata. Hmm. At the mental level also, imbalance of sattva rajas tama. Hmm.
Mm.
Mhm. And intellectual level, imbalance of different truths, the philosophical understanding imbalance when you have.
Mm.
And at the spiritual level, imbalance is that of you're not able to distinguish between Krishna prema, love for
Mm.
Krishna and the love for this world, people in this world. So the yoga at four levels, it talks about balancing these imbalances.
Wow, what excellent explanation, Prabhu. Amazing, amazing. Prabhu, now let's move on to drawing some parallels between material happiness and spiritual happiness. We did talk a little bit about material happiness in our last episode. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavantatu kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. And here, Krishna is drawing an image of spiritual happiness. Sukam atyantikam yattad buddhigrahyam atindriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam stitaschalati tatvatah. So, what is the nature of the spiritual happiness, Prabhu, that Krishna is saying? It says Atyantikam Buddhi Grahyam Atindriyam. It is beyond the senses. So what is the nature of
No,
this
Sukham
spiritual?
Atyantikam Yatta. That means that Atyantikam has been described or explained in the further verse. What is that thing? Yam ladva naparam labam manyate dikamta. So that Atyantikam is being described in it. That means
Mhm.
once you are in the path of spiritual life, you become so happy that you're convinced there's nothing beyond this. That is called Sukhamat. And now somebody may say that, hey, how are you happy? You don't have any objects of enjoyment around you. So then he says, my happiness is not on the essential platform.
Mm.
As much as there are four levels of existence, the spiritual happiness is higher to intellectual happiness.
Mhm.
Intellectual happiness is higher to the mental happiness. Mental happiness is higher to physical happiness. How somebody is, I'll give a small example. Somebody is eating. He's just go on eating so tasty, nice food is eating. At that time, what happens? His very beloved person comes.
Mhm.
Then what does he do? Uh, he gives up that eating, that physical enjoyment. And the enjoyment is a physical, essential level to achieve the emotional enjoyment. Though somebody may have all the physical enjoyment, but if there's no family, he's not so happy about it. So beyond the physical happiness is the emotional happiness. And you may have a nice friends who love you, all these things are there, but still they are all buddhus. They don't
Mm.
talk anything logical. Then you feel quest. I, you all be I want to study something, learn something. You have a feeling
Mhm.
that the intellectual happiness is more than the emotional happiness.
Mhm.
And beyond intellectual happiness is beyond because it is not material, that is spiritual.
Mm.
So yamladvanaparam la manyatadikam tata yaspinsito, the test of somebody being fixed up in spiritual happiness is yaspinsito nadukheshu gurunapi vichalyate. Gurunapi, even though it is guru, it is tremendous, very somebody who is so beloved has left the body, vichality, not disturbed.
Mm.
You have 10 crore rupees in your bank balance. All of a sudden, you come to know that that bank has gone and money has gone. Then still okay, no problem. You chant.
Mm.
Guru na vichality, undisturbed. That is a test.
Mm.
Okay.
So is this why, Prabhu, in material happiness, there is no end, like more wealth, more power, more success, more possession. There's always more, more, more. But here, manyate na adhikam tataha. This is the greatest gain. So spirituality is the only one that's saying no more. You've come to the point where there is nothing greater than this. This is the greatest.
A small point here.
Uh-huh.
A spiritualist, he wants more, but in the same direction.
Okay, got it.
Same thing more.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that is why lobha. He wants to chant more, he wants to serve more. Whereas material, he wants more of something else.
Ah,
Something else.
nice.
Ah, so he's lot of money, now he wants a lot of women or some lot of something else. He wants something else because that gives frustration to him.
Mm-hmm. So, what do we tell to people, Prabhu? Sometimes I ask, follow up with my students, why have you not come for the Bhagavad Gita class last 3 weeks? Oh, Mataji, this happened, health problem, or lost a near or dear one, or there is some financial trouble, something, there is some problem. In fact, when there is problem, they should take it up more. But I see the other way. When there is problem, they go away. So here Krishna is saying spiritual happiness is immaterial of your circumstances. You don't have to fix your material problems to pursue spiritual happiness. This is something constant. It has to go on.
And that is the excuse a conditioned soul gives, like a boy, naughty boy, who gives many excuses of not going to school or not studying or getting
Yes.
less marks. In the same way, the excuses are done by children. But over a period of time, in spite of these excuses, the mother knows these are excuses, but still the mother forgives and very, very, very tactfully get the children, get her child or children to become more matured.
Hmm.
So these excuses are given by those who are not very matured in Krishna consciousness,
Hmm.
those who don't have a strong desire to attain Krishna. But our love and affection as a teacher make them more, will nurture them to become more matured. Once they are matured, they automatically show the greed to hear more and shine more.
Right. And how do we not give in to the temptations? Because material happiness is more tangible and it's immediate, it's close by, we can get it. But spiritual happiness seems like something far away. Every day I should chant, every day I should do this, this, this. So, how do we, yeah.
No, actually, material happiness is the thing which is not tangible, and
Mm,
spiritual happiness is a thing which is actually perceivable very much, and it is very direct, and it can be experienced. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita,
mhm,
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Pratyakshagam Dharmyam Susukam Katramaviyam.
mhm,
This pratyaksha pratyaksha. The spiritual happiness is pratyaksha. It can be experienced immediately. It is not a post-dated check. Hmm.
mm,
Like, I'll give you a small example. Now, a person who wants to get married. So now he's expecting a great happiness. Once I get married, I'll become happy in that, and this is thinking. Now somehow he gets married, and then you ask him, "Are you happy?" "No, I'm just trying to do something more and get more happy."
yeah.
So where is that? It is only expectation. It is only expectation.
Mm,
Material happiness is only in expectation. Now people are thrilled to get something.
yes.
Once you get that thing, gone. Like somebody watches some cricket match or football. They're so thrilled. They get expectation. The team wins. After the team won, okay, for a few minutes there's some celebration. Oh no. At the time when they come to know that tomorrow they have got an examination, they're not well prepared for it, then what happened to the happiness? Gone.
Mm,
So where is that pratyaksha? There is no pratyaksha. It is only apeksha, no
mm,
pratyaksha. Where spiritual happiness is pratyaksha.
mhm,
The first happiness which you get on the spiritual platform is relief from the mental misery.
mm,
That is pratyaksha. Otherwise, why people should come to temple? Same temple again and again so many times. Why they are coming?
mm,
I asked one person uh, who wanted in Mathura, in Vrindavan Yatra is one person. So now, uh, one devotee, Yatri who came along with us, Till Roji, we came all the way to Mathura, down with you. We have a desire to go to Taj Mahal, Agra. We come here because they're from South India.
mhm,
What is there? Oh no, Proji, want to go. Want to. Okay, they went and came back.
mm,
They missed one day yatra.
mm,
Uh, they went and came back. Then how was it? Proji? Yeah, it was beautiful, Proji. It was very beautiful. We took photograph. He showed them photograph. I told you want to go again? No, Proji, हो गया ना, एक बार देख लिया ना.
mm,
What about Vrindavan Yatra? You like to come? Oh, I just want to stay here only. I want to
mm,
come again and again. So what is the difference? What is the difference? It, the difference is simple.
yes.
The spiritual thing is pratyaksha. And he is not connected with this Kani. He's just a simple pious person. That's all. He just came at Yatra. So that shows that why people come to temple again and again. Same temple. I know many people who come to a temple. Since the day I joined, I've been seeing one family
Mm,
who comes every day for darshanarti.
wow.
Many times I'm not able to present during the time of darshanarti, but he just comes. The moment his car comes, I can make it out. It is 7 o'clock in the morning.
Mm,
It has been for 27 years, continuously, constant.
mm,
Why has to come? Why doesn't go to some other monument?
yeah.
Again and again, same thing. Because it is pratyakshagam dharmyam susukam.
Mm,
Thousands of people, lakhs of people.
mm. Beautiful, Prabhu. Prabhu, next, I'm so glad Arjuna asked this question. It is such a hope-giving section of chapter 6. So Arjuna uvacha Ayati shraddhayopeto yoga chalita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. So reading Prabhupada's translation. Arjuna said, what is the destination of the man of faith who does not persevere, who in the beginning takes to the process of self realization, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? So, Prabhu, what is this yoga samsiddhim? What is perfection in spirituality?
So, yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Krishna, one who has attained perfection, not attained perfection. So, what is that perfection? That is the question.
Mhm.
The question is very simple. The answer is also very simple. The perfection of life is to attain love for Krishna
Okay.
and go back home, back to Godhead, to spiritual world. That is perfection. So, if you are not attained love for Krishna, then you have to take birth again. So, that is what Arjuna's question is. If in this life, if somebody is have practiced and practiced, could not attain love for Krishna, then what is going to happen to them? Is he going to lose everything? And the next life is to start with again the same from zero? That is the question of Arjuna. Like if I study now some for examination, and now somehow I could not pass, then what I'm supposed to do? I should take the examination again,
Again.
start from scratch.
Mhm.
But here in spiritual life, it is not like that. Whatever you have done, it is carried to the next life because the soul is transferred from one body to another body.
Mhm.
So, what are the bodily activities are there? They are gone. Whatever
Mhm.
money you have earned, for example, you earn 2 crore rupees and put in your bank account,
Mhm.
and you leave the body. Next life, you cannot come and say, last life I had kept 2 crores. I want to get that money. He will not give. Even though the bank manager is convinced that you are the same person,
Mm.
but still he cannot give. Gone. Even though you say, a past life I was this, you prove. And even though doctors accept, the whole government also accepts, yes, yes, you are the same person in the previous life, but still you will not get the money.
Mm.
But in spiritual life, it is not like that. Wherever you, whatever you have done, that carries to the next life because it is spiritual life is eternal and it carries to the next life also.
So, Prabhu, you said the success is love, attaining love of God. But looks like this attaining love of God is not zero or one. I attained it or I did not attain it. Looks like it's a spectrum. Over multi lifetimes, we have to increase this love of God. And what point should it come where I go back home, back to Godhead?
That depends on Krishna. There is no hard and fast rule in that.
Mm.
So sometimes, even though you might have attained love for Krishna, the will of the Lord, He may give you another birth. So that doesn't matter.
Mm.
So for a devotee, it doesn't matter whether he goes back home, back to Godhead or not.
Mm.
He is more concerned about his practice of Krishna consciousness and serving Krishna, serving. Like when in a true love, you just love the person, serve the person.
Mm.
What he gives, where is he going to take up to him? Even
Okay.
if you go where along with him somewhere else, you'll serve that person, isn't it? Do the same thing, whether here or there.
Mm.
So not to be so concerned about whether you're going to go back from back to it or not. Just concentrate on practicing bhakti, and over a period of time, gradually the symptoms of love manifest. And these are
Okay.
all described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. These
Mm-hmm.
symptoms of love, what they are.
Mm-hmm. So, Prabhu, from your experience and from your Shastric understanding, what are some of the common reasons why somebody becomes ayati? Why do they fail or become unsuccessful in their pursuit of attaining love of God?
In the path of bhakti, there is only one reason for which one falls down. That the only one reason is offending a Vaishnava.
Mm.
That is the only reason.
Okay.
If at all there is any other reason, the only other reason is not being very enthusiastic in spreading Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
When you are enthusiastic in spreading Krishna consciousness, then you become enthusiastic to practice yourself Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
So these are the two primary reasons. That is, you offend, and then number two is lack of enthusiasm in preaching Krishna consciousness.
Mhm. Thank you, Prabhu. So, Krishna, what a amazingly most merciful Lord that he's saying, I take care of this person. Okay, he became unsuccessful in this life, like you were explaining, it continues from where we left off. And Krishna says, nobody has done anything good, even 1% you've done in bhakti, it doesn't go to waste. It continues. And how does he take care? How can we, can't glorify Krishna enough. What a most loving Supreme Father. He says, this soul, I will make sure that they take birth in a Shuchinam Gehe, a pure family, or a Shrimatam Gehe, a wealthy aristocratic family, Kule Dhimatam, a family of wise people, so they can continue from where they left off, rekindling that spirit again. So, Prabhu, when I was preparing for this class and writing down questions, the first example for this that came to my mind was you. Now, here you are somebody who were born into a Shuchi family, pious family, a Madhva Brahmin family. I mean, when I heard you say that, forget about eating non-veg, you didn't even know what an onion was until you came to 10th grade. So my jaws literally dropped when I heard like what kind of pure upbringing that you don't even know what an onion is until you were like 15, 16 years old. Hearing Mahabharata, Ramayana from your grandmother, your mother was a worshipper of Raghavendra Swami, such pious upbringing. And Srimatam, growing up in a household where you can play cricket inside the house, not just outside the house, sit and eat as many mangoes as you want, as many bananas as you want, as many as are ripe you can eat. Such Srimatam and Kule Dhimatam, intelligent, wise people family. But for someone like you, Krishna gave you all these facilities and you took up spirituality. The purpose of Krishna giving you this comfort, this all these facilities was so you can carry from where you left off. And someone like you has done that spectacularly well. But now, what about so many people who are born into a pious family, but they don't carry on spirituality? They may be religious, but they don't become spiritual. Or they may just be a Brahmin in name only. Somebody who is surrounded by wealth, but instead of taking spirituality, they squander that wealth in sense enjoyment. Or maybe they become ambitious, oh, I should do more than what my ancestors have done. So, what do we have to tell these people so they use these facilities in a proper way and they continue their journey of spirituality?
The only thing what we can tell is I have association of sadhus,
Mhm,
associate with devotees, associate with devotees, associate devotees. So what brought me to Krishna consciousness was association with devotees. It is not just the birth in some very good family and
mhm,
all the. Of course, definitely, there was some Krishna bhakti from the previous life because worshipping Krishna was there, but it was kindled only when we associated with devotees of Krishna.
mhm,
Devotees of ISKCON, to be more specific, when they spoke the Bhagavad Gita, and they explained my questions, then some energy, maybe past life's energy or something, it rekindled. So everybody has some kind of spiritual experience in their past life,
mhm,
and that can be kindled only by association with devotees. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Sadhu sanga, sadhu sanga, sadhu sanga, sarva shastra kahe, lavamatra sadhu sanga, sarva siddhi." Lavamatra, a little bit of association with devotees, sarva siddhi hoy, attain perfection. So whether somebody is aristocratic, somebody is very
mhm,
intelligent, Dhimatam, or somebody is Srimatam, somebody is Suchinam, somebody is not, it
mhm,
doesn't matter. What matters is association of devotees. If there are proper association of devotees, you will find there are so many uh, very aristocratic family, like you
mhm.
have Mafatlal family. They are doing great service, very dedicated service.
Yeah.
And they are all in Srimatam Gehe. They are born in Srimata family.
Mm,
But there are other people who are also born in Srimatam, but they don't have association devotees. So the real Srimatam is one who actually gets association with devotees and practice bhakti. There is only external Srimatam and Suchina. The real Suchi is one who chants Hare Krishna and practices Krishna bhakti. Just being born as a Brahmin doesn't make him Suchinam.
mhm,
Actual Suchi is to purify your mind and consciousness. That happens only by taking Krishna consciousness.
mm,
Just by doing some kind of religious activities, One doesn't become Suchinam. Ravana was also very perfect in his with chanting. He was also doing his Sandhya. He was also having his Jenu. He was also, but he was completely full of lust in the mind. Hmm. On the other hand, you have Prahlad, who was born in a demoniac family,
Mm.
but still he is the most Suchina. Gajendra, an animal. What you say? You would Shivatam, Dhimatam, Buddhatam, what you say? But still, a great devotee. It doesn't matter which
Mm.
family you're born in. But in this verse, Krishna specifically talks about it because it becomes easy.
Mm.
Because one who is born in a Brahmanical family, they have somehow or other, I have observed it, a special attraction for studying scriptures
Mm.
and understanding subtleties of the scriptures. And those who are Srimatam, they have a natural inclination to serve the Vaishnavas, serve the Brahmanas. I've seen this thing, especially the Madhya Marwadis, very strict. They are pakka materialistic people. But somehow they see a sadhu, they welcome very nicely, they worship, they do all kinds of satkar. So they have the fortune of somehow hearing from a sadhu. And also, if they take up Krishna consciousness, practice the Krishna consciousness, they can dedicate more time in serving Krishna. That is why in all our temples, especially in Gujarat, in where the Gujaratis are there, they're in the business. They come in the morning, 4:30, and then they are there in the temple till 12 o'clock, make sure that kitchen is proper, they cut sabji, they do a lot of service. I was surprised because
Mm.
they have so much of flexibility in they go to the office at 12 o'clock and come back by 8 o'clock. If some festival is there 3 days, they just go to, but this is not possible by
Right.
for a person who is doing a job. But
Yes.
this is that is called Srimatam, but means he doesn't have to bother much about his maintenance. That's called Srimatam. A person who does a job, even though he is earning 5 lakh rupees a month, he's a poor person.
Yes. Okay. Prabhu, we are coming to the fag end of the chapter. So this 46th shloka, when Krishna says, Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna, become a yogi, O Arjuna, because yogi is better than a tapasvi, better than a jnani, better than a karmi. So what is the definition of yogi as described by Krishna here, and why is he the best compared to everybody else?
See, yogi means one who is in connection with Krishna, one who tries to connect with Krishna, one who practices processes by which he can connect with Krishna. That is called a yogi. Um, and others are tapasvis who want to try to get some powers by doing tapasya. And those who are jnanis, they want to get some knowledge. That's all. But the karmis, they want to enjoy. But his yogi is special because he's endeavoring to connect with Krishna.
Mhm.
That's why yogi is the best among all.
Okay. And among that yogi also, Krishna says in the 47th chapter, who is the best even among yogis, Yoginamapi sarvesha madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo matah. And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. So if you can elaborate a little bit on
So
this, Prabhu. Yeah.
this yogi
Mhm.
uh, is the topmost, which yogi? Bhakti yogi, one
Okay.
who practices bhakti, pure devotional service. Ashtanga yogi, the karma yogi, and the jnana yogi. Among all, above these three is the bhakti yogi. One who does bhakti. Yogi Yoginam sarvesham mad bhakti mad gatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate. One who does bhajan. That
Mm.
means chant Hare Krishna. One who hears about Krishna. That is how the seventh chapter is connected. Tat
Right.
shunu. Uh, so the first 6 chapters of
Mhm.
Bhagavad Gita concludes with this statement that pure devotional service and one who practices pure devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, is the topmost yogi.
Mm.
Now, what is pure devotional service? That is what is subject matter of the next 6 chapters. And pure devotional starts with hearing. That is why Krishna uses the word Tat Shunu, the seventh chapter, first verse.
Beautiful. Very beautiful. So, Prabhu, overall, what is the gist of the first 6 chapters? Like you said, next we will go to the middle 6 chapters, which is primarily Bhakti Yoga. So, what is the gist
The
of
gist
the first?
of 6 chapters is very simple, that Bhagavad Gita or Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. All the other yogas, the Jnana Yoga, the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga means Sankhya Yoga, second chapter, Karma Yoga, third and the fifth chapter, and the sixth chapter talks about Ashtanga Yoga, are only different levels of the contaminations of the ladder of yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is a pure yoga, the topmost of all the yoga. That is the culmination of the first 6 chapters. And these things are not, these 3 yogas plus one, the Bhakti Yoga is uh, not different yoga, different ladders.
Mhm.
There's one ladder at different levels.
Right.
So you practice that yoga, that is bhakti. When there's some contamination of jnana, karma yoga, they all will subside. And what is this? What is left over is only pure bhakti.
Okay.
That is going to be described in the next 6 chapters.
Sure. Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, Brahmastra, today's Brahmastra is going to be kind of different from the previous Brahmastras. So, one of the very impressive aspects of your discourses for me is the way you do Mangalacharan. Now, pretty much all the devotees do Mangalacharan, but yours is quite elaborate, which is very nice. It shows that how you have this deep eagerness to connect and be a recipient of the mercy of the Guru Parampara. Because I see in your Mangalacharan, you chant like the Sambandha Pranama, Abhideya Pranama, Prayojana Pranama mantra, which is very unusual, but very, very beautiful. So I drew inspiration from that. And so, for those of you who are watching, for the audience, I am turning my attention to the last page of introduction of Bhagavad Gita as it is, where the Guru Parampara is listed, the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Parampara. So, Prabhu, what I'm going to do for today's Brahmastra is I will take some of the names of our acharyas from the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And as I take the name of each acharya, whatever comes to your mind, if you can glorify them in 1, 2, 3 sentences, so if you can do that. We will start from Prabhupada, but Prabhupada's in the very first Brahmastra you had mentioned, I had asked you what do you think is the greatest contribution of Prabhupada, and you said it was his books. So from other than that, if you can start glorifying His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada, his contribution is, of course, the books,
Mhm.
but many acharyas have contributed many books. But when the acharyas wrote the books, previous acharyas, they wrote the books for a particular kind of audience, those who are scholarly.
Mhm.
They had a prefixed audience in their mind. But when Srila Prabhupada wrote the books, he kept simple people like us in mind. So his books are the highest contribution to the entire world. And his books are written in such a way that even go on reading it, even if you don't understand it, you'll understand it over a period of time. That
Jai.
is the nature of his books.
Mm.
It is like the baby in the womb gets nourished. How? Just by being in the womb. Doesn't have to eat, nothing. The same way, just by reading, you get some understanding, which is amazing understanding. So I'll just fix again on the
Mhm.
same subject. That is, Srila Prabhupada means books. And his compassion means he spread through his books.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Next Acharya Prabhu, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
He is the Madhvacharya of the Gaudiya Parampara. Now, Prabhupada is like the Ramanujacharya of the Gaudiya Parampara. Ramanujacharya for the mass. Just for the mass. He just went and embraced him. But Sripad Madhvacharya, wherever he went, he just went to the local Brahmin scholar, he defeated them, he made him disciple. And seeing him, many became his disciples. Or he went to the king and made him. So Vakshanas Thakur is calls a spade a spade. He's just sharp, calling spade a spade. So Vakshanas Thakur's, I see Madhvacharya more in him. and Ramanuja in Bhakti, in Srila Prabhupada. But Srila Prabhupada also have Madhvacharya in him, but more of Ramanuja.
Wow, such wonderful comparison. Okay, next, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji.
Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye. He's Vipralam Rathambode. Padambujayate Namah. So Pranam Mantra itself is enough to understand Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was the one who actually inspired Bhaktivinoda Thakur to go and preach. Says, Pranate jar se tu prachar. If you are alive, you should go and preach. Those who preach, only they have life. But he himself did not preach. Somebody asked this question to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, we are able to preach Krishna consciousness around the world. Even I'm in Sweden now, and people are doing Mangalarti here. It is because Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Navadip chanted. By his chanting, the atmosphere of the entire earth got purified, where we have an opportunity to talk about Bhagavad Gita, and many people are hearing this Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? And preaching is happening so many places around the world.
Prabhu, if you allow me, can I just make a comment on what you just said?
Yeah.
So you talked about how Pranhaite Prachar, one who has prana only can preach. And you compared Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to Madhvacharya in Gaudiya Sampradaya. And Madhvacharya happens to be the incarnation of Mukhya Prana.
Yeah. A good analysis.
So next Acharya Prabhu, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
He is the seventh Goswami.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have not been there, we would not have actually got the Gaudiya Vaishnavism in literary format. He has actually encapsulated all the teachings of the Gaudiya Shad Goswamis, revived the entire Gaudiya Vaishnavism, because at the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Gaudiya Vaishnavism was not so much well respected. If somebody would not do well in the exams or in job, people would say, go get us, become a Vaishnava. Means you become a beggar. It is Bhaktivinoda Thakur who actually brought the image of Vaishnavism, its glory in front of everyone.
Nice. Srila Jagannath Das Babaji.
Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, he is the Vaishnava Sarvabhauma. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma. Jagannathayate. So he was recognized as the topmost devotee of Radha Krishna at that time in Navadvip. In spite of Bhaktivinoda Thakur finding out the birthplace of Chaitanya, this is the exact spot, people would not believe him. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur knew, if Jagannath Das Babaji says this is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, everybody has to believe. So his Vaishnava Sarva, Gauravirbhava Bhumestvam, Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya, Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya, Vaishnava Sarvabhaumah Shri Jagannathayate.
Very nice. Srila Baladeva Vidya Bhushan.
Oh, favorite. Vedanta Acharya. Actually, many other sampradayas, they would not accept Gaudiya Vaishnavas as a recognized sampradaya. They would not recognize, because we did not have our own bhashya. So it is Baladeva Vidya Bhushan Prabhu who gave the bhashya. And how did he write the bhashya? He went and paid to Govinda, please help me in writing a commentary to Vedanta Sutras. It happened in Jaipur. So one of the reasons why the Muslims attacked Vrindavan, and the deities had to go to Jaipur, is Radharani told Krishna, you want to speak Vedanta, Vraj is not the place. You go to Jaipur and speak. So Govinda dictated. Baladeva Vidya Bhushan Prabhu has a great connection with Madhvas. He took sannyas in the Madhva Sampradaya.
Okay.
And then he wrote the Bhashya, Govinda Bhashya. Yeah.
Oh, so that's why Prabhupada is writing here, dedicated Bhagavad Gita as it is to him, to Srila Baladev Vidya Bhushan, who presented so nicely the Govinda Bhashya commentary on Vedanta philosophy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Srila Prabhupada, when he wrote the commentary of Bhagavad Gita, he translated Though it is Srila Prabhupada's commentary, but it is actually 70% translation of Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary
Mm.
in a way we can understand.
Okay, okay. Very nice connection. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
He is Rasacharya. For me, Bhagavatam means Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Mm.
He is being considered to be an incarnation of Rupa Goswami.
Okay.
Rupa Goswami, he wrote Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu, but he did not give a commentary on Bhagavatam. So he had a great desire to give a commentary on Bhagavatam.
Oh.
So Srila Rupa Goswami himself came as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and then gave a commentary on Bhagavatam.
Oh.
Many people they ask, Roji, where do you give classes from Bhagavatam
Yes.
class? Just I open Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary and then speak as it is. That's all.
Very interesting, Prabhu. Very nice. Srila Narottam Das Thakur.
Narottam Das Thakur, he is the last acharya or the last personality whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally remembered. He started standing, Narottam, Narottam, Narottam. Nobody was knowing who is Narottam. At the time was not born. He knew Narottam is going to appear in future. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took bath in Aja river. I forget the name of the river. So the river immediately became golden in form. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prema was left there. So the Narottam took bath there and that prema entered him. And his books are considered to be wonderful. Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Prarthana. And sometimes Gaur Kishore Babaji would say that you want Krishna Prema, you'll get in 2 paisa. He had only 2 books, Prema Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana. Ratan Das Thakur's. These 2 contains the essence of all the Gaudiya philosophy in simple bhajans.
Prabhu, here it's written Krishna Das, but this is Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yeah, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami.
Yes, Prabhu, if you can comment.
No, he is author of Chaitanya Charitamrita or Purana. And of course, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami has many wonderful other books also. He has written a commentary on Krishna Karanamritam, on a Sarangarangada commentary. And he also has written many books, especially a book called Govinda Lilamritam. Govinda Lilamritam. Many other books he has written, and he is actually blessed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to write the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Okay. Yeah, I heard your recent classes on Krishna Karnamrita. It was so beautiful. Relished it so much. So, Prabhu, we're running short of time, so I don't think we can cover so many acharyas. But together, Shad Goswamis, if you can briefly say something in their
There are Mula Siksha Guru. All the Siksha, whatever we receive, it is from the Shad Goswamis in Vrindavan.
Okay.
So there is one Ashtakam called Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Very interesting how I came across with this Shad Goswami Ashtakam. When I was working in Merchant Navy ship, I was reading Prabhupada Lilamrita. So Srila Prabhupada, in one section, he gives sannyas to 2 of his disciples.
Okay.
2 disciples, they come in the evening to Prabhupada. And they ask Srila Prabhupada that now since you have given sannyas initiation to us, we have become sannyasis. Then what is our kartavya? What we are supposed to do? What is our responsibility? What we should do? Any instructions? Then Srila Prabhupada said, memorize Shad Goswami Ashtakam and conduct your life accordingly.
Oh.
So there are 6 sannyasi disciples. So that is the day I memorized the 6 Shad Goswami Ashtakam.
Okay.
I still remember in my ship. I was studying that and I took the Shad Goswami Ashtakam and then I memorized it.
Beautiful, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, thank you so much for such wonderful, wonderful session. I had so many aha moments here. You have shifted my perspective, deepened my perspective on so many things. And I also want to share, Prabhu, actually, many are messaging me and saying that how much they are relishing these sessions. So, we are all so very grateful for all the insights and wisdom that you're sharing. So, my humble obeisances unto you, my humble obeisances to all the acharyas in our Guru Parampara. May their mercy keep flowing. So, thank you very much, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. So I'll just wrap up, Prabhu. Just one. So Hare Krishna, everyone. I hope that you are relishing these sessions as much as I am. I am sure that you are. So Prabhu has already given the link for the next chapter. So the last verse of sixth chapter ended by Krishna saying, "The best of all yogis is a bhakti yogi." Now, who is a bhakti yogi? How to become a bhakti yogi? We ourselves. So that will be discovered. That we will discover in the next six chapters. So we will start seventh chapter in our next episode. So please don't miss. Keep tuning in again and again to these wonderful episodes. And also do your part by sharing these videos with everyone that you know so they can also join us on this journey of Pariprashna. So we'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, stay inquisitive and stay Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Krishna.